Today we're going to look at drawing with unusual objects. Tara, have you ever tried that?
I've experimented with cotton buds with ink, and they give quite a soft effect. You just dab them onto the paper. And I've also tried skewers with ink as well, and they give quite a scratchy feel, but it's quite nice because it forces you to make different marks that you wouldn't normally make. And I do love a kebab as well.
So I'm going to go down the woods and see what I can find. I reckon the woods is a really great place to look. I mean, there's just an abundance of stuff. I'm on the lookout for a nice big feather now. That looks like a really good place to go. Ooh, what about something like that? I reckon that might be quite good. Make some interesting marks. Let's try it. Yay! I think I might take some inspiration from Sherlock and try a twig. Seems to work for him. Found a feather. Not the prettiest feather in the world and not the longest either, but if I don't find anything better, that might be worth a try. Finally, I found this. Kind of like nature's brush. So I'm going to see what I can do with that.
So I can see you've started with a feather here. Have you just dipped it in some ink?
Yeah, a bit like a quill, you know.
Yeah.
I've kind of just dipped it in a bottle of ink and I thought I'd give it a try. I didn't love drawing with a feather, it has to be said. I would give me a pen any day, but it just goes to show if you don't happen to have a pen handy, but you have, you know, a bottle of ink, you can still draw. Did make some interesting marks. And I suppose what was quite cool about it was what's the word I'm looking for? You could never tell what was going to happen next.
Yeah, I kind of like that about a drawing. That's one of the good things I think about these making a marks this way. Because you can't fully control things like you normally would, it makes things a little bit more interesting.
I quite like that as it runs out of ink, the lines get a lot finer, and I kind of learnt from that as I went along. But what I did like, I don't know if you saw just then, but some of the ink kind of just splattered as I just scratched the feather across, some ink splattered out, and actually I really like that, and it happens again in a minute, I think, but I quite like that. It kind of almost gave it a bit of life, I think.
Yeah, I really like that too.
Yeah. But you can see you can actually make some really fine dryish lines, and that was as the ink run out, really, and then you've just got that dry scratchy mark. But see all the splashes in the background.
Yeah,
kind of like that.
Did you actually cut like a little slot in this feather or not?
Oh yes, I should have said that actually. Yes, I used a Stanley knife to kind of make a diagonal kind of cut, a bit like a pen. But I have to say, I don't think I would do that next time, because I assumed it would be like a stick and you could just cut it. But they are hollow, obviously. So that is a good, I suppose the reason I did it is because I wanted it to hold some ink rather than just be scratching from the surface. But I think the problem was that they are quite fibrous. So trying to cut a really dead straight sort of diagonal line was very, very difficult. It was a bit stringy.
Right. And what are you drawing here?
So here I've got my stick. This was more controllable, I suppose. This is just a group of people chatting in the street. I don't think the lines have as much character as the feather, actually.
No, I prefer the feather. And you're not getting the splats the same, are you, with this one?
No, it kind of... Yeah, if I had to choose between the two, feather wins all day long, because I quite like those kind of random marks, whereas this is very much... I'm doing exactly the same thing here. I'm dipping, the stick into the ink and just sort of drawing like it's a pen. And obviously as soon as you sort of dip the twig in for the first time, it's very, very dark because the ink's, really thick and heavy. And then obviously the longer you use it, the more the ink will dry. And then you can make sort of thinner marks. But no, I didn't. I have to say, I won't be drawing with a stick again anytime soon.
You're not throwing away
I
your
might,
lamb
I
in
might
safari.
a feather. No. A feather though, I think, yeah, I could, yeah. But it's surprising how you can see here, you can still get quite a variety of lines. Like I say, as it dries, you can get those sort of thinner, dryish marks. And I was using water-soluble ink here, which meant I could also go in afterwards with a brush and sort of,
Soften it up a little bit.
yeah, cheat, basically.
You should have really made yourself a brush to do that, shouldn't you?
I should have done, maybe with the end of the feather. That would have been really clever. So I'm just going in with the darker bits here, getting some shadows in. Have you ever tried anything like this, Tara?
Well, I did show you earlier on, you obviously weren't listening to the video earlier when I showed I was using Q-tips.
Oh, yes, that's it, yeah. So you can see there I used that sort of brush, and now I'm sort of dotting in some leaves with the pine cone.
Do you know, I love that effect.
That was
really
random. It made a difference. It put them somewhere, didn't it? It put them in a sort of space, and I've used the brush here to sort of make them look a little bit more like they're standing in the sun. I actually sprayed, I don't know if you could tell there, I sprayed that with water and the ink kind of ran a little bit, but I wasn't so keen on that. But
I would use that as a texture for a background, I think, for something. It would be quite nice to draw over the top if you kept it quite subtle.
Why not check out our previous videos, and don't forget to subscribe so you never miss your Art Kick Sunday. Meanwhile, you can check out our podcast and find the creative challenges we have coming up at www.kickinthecreatives.com. Back soon.